That's all right.
So what we want to do is talk a little bit more about some of the technology, because you've got this great flight simulator technology that kind of goes from desktop, laptop, all the way on up to the full motion simulator. So maybe why don't you walk us through it at the very beginning, what the application is, who it's kind of suited for, home use, professional use, pilots, hobbyists, whatever else, and just kind of walk us up through and tell us what's new and exciting about all those.
Sure. We really actually we'd take a step down from a full desktop simulator, and we'd start with a home peripheral line. We have a line of home peripheral devices that we call Alloy. These are yokes and throttle quadrants, rudder pedals that home sim enthusiasts or somebody building a rig for their house can buy and implement, or integrate into their home rigs.
Do they have force feedback on the rudder?
They don't. No, there's no force feedback on these devices yet.
Okay.
But it's maybe coming.
Yeah.
They're built out of. They're all metal construction. That was sort of the reason for the Alloy moniker, and the idea with those devices is to try to make them very, very highly realistic. So for instance, you're not going to find a more realistic feeling and looking yoke for your typical single-engine piston aircraft than what's in the YK1. The TH1 uses real, actual aircraft vernier controls. So if you're looking for that kind of hyper-realism, especially in the training in a training aircraft, those are second to none. Those devices are second to none.
And so what powers that? If I'm flying a G1000 or steam gauges, can I change what I'm looking at?
Yeah. So in that case, whatever you decide you want to build, right? Home builders will either run something like X-Plane or Microsoft Flight Simulator, and these peripherals, these controllers are compatible with that. You take a step up and you start looking at some of our larger devices, and actually that's kind of where everything, the larger devices are where that technology started, that we kind of bring down and repackage, to make available for home users. So those controls are the same controls we use in our AATDs or our motion devices. But not to get too far ahead, you asked the desktop devices. We have a line of desktop devices called the J and the J Velocity. They're really built as an all-in-one simulator device, really application for these individual pilots, home pilots, but there's a lot of K-12 and education organizations and museums that are putting these in to build sim labs for pilots at that level for really early pilot life cycle stuff, kind of acquisition, get people into it. As you progress up, then we have a TD and a TD2, these are the first FAA certified or approved devices. They're basic aviation training devices. And then you you step up into our AATD line, everything from open cockpit LD to single occupant motion devices like the MX2 that the RAF sim here is built off of, to dual occupant, single and dual control. So there's really a whole lot of options to meet what your training need is. So if you're a university, if you're an individual flight school, flight training operation, or you're a home user or a high school or even a middle school, we have solutions for you across the run the gamut. Yeah.
So as far as computing speed on some of the desktop things, will a typical laptop have the processing speed to run that seamlessly, or do they need something special to power?
Yeah, if you're building something for home, you're probably going to want a customized rig, something that's got a better GPU in it. Your typical kind of laptop that you'd be using, you can run some of this stuff, but you're going to be better suited buying something that's kind of custom built for gaming.
And you have those recommendations for people?
We do. We do for home builders. We do. We also, obviously we build our own devices and our own computers to run our fully integrated devices. So.
Well, something really interesting here is a shameless plug for Flying Magazine. We have one of our contributors, Sean Siff, is actually writing a 2-part series on building your home simulator, right?
Yeah.
So figuring out what your mission, what it is you want to accomplish, and he'll tell you, the best computer to buy, the best monitor, because there's lots of differences I never thought about when I bought my first Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I'd bank 30 degrees and it would stop and reload and stop. That's not the experience you see here. So
that's quite a bit different. I actually started my sim life when I was a kid on the Tandy 1000. The simulator was Chuck Yeager's flight simulator, and it's like it was like 2 colors, and but.
Did you donate that to the Smithsonian for historic value?
It probably should be there. Should be in there. Yeah, the technology has come a long, long way. And And I would say, you know, it's almost unrecognizable. But even from the early days of those kind of computer-based simulators, it was really clear that there's some really good learning that can happen there, even if it's not an approved device, a fully approved device. If you're interested in aviation and interested in learning aviation, really there's no reason you shouldn't be, you know, using something at some level. You know, if you're not everybody's going to build their own devices or want to do that. Obviously, that's why we have solutions like the J Velocity, the TD, allow for pilots to kind of integrate this stuff without having to build their own. And other people, honestly, like me, like to build our own things. You know, like get the latest video card. You know, build it. So we try to have solutions for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I do see solutions popping up more and more places. You know, I go through a lot of FBOs, and it's becoming more and more common to see even the full motion simulators at like smaller flight schools and private schools.
Yeah. When we started in 2007 building these simulators, and I will say that we have seen the market come a long way as far as adopting the use of this kind of technology at the very early end of the pilot's life cycle, right?
Okay.
At our heart, we are a training company. You know, we build simulators specifically for training. There are folks that sort of skew just to the sort of the entertainment side of it.
Hobbyists.
But we want to use these devices, and we advocate for the use of these devices in training, whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned pilot and you're looking for something to stay sharp and proficient on.
Okay.
So.
And you're here all week, so you want people to come by on Knapp Street. You're at Space 301, right?
Yep.
Walk towards the control tower,
Just
look
right
for the
across from
Redbird
the control
studio.
tower. Yep.
All right. Well, Charlie, thanks
Very
for
good.
coming by. Thanks for
Thank you.
hosting us again. We really appreciate your support.